everyone, and welcome to another episode of Tenby Art Archive. So in this video I'm going to be talking to you about using acrylic paints. We're going to be looking at colour theory and the application of the acrylic paints themselves. So my subject here is a family portrait, so it's going to include painting skin and painting fabrics as well. Now we're going to start off by talking about colour theory, what colours you should use for your painting and why you should be using them. I'll show you some of the brush sizes that I'm going to be doing, and then we'll skip straight into a time lapse of me completing this canvas. Okay, so let me talk you through the palette. So I've selected mainly warm colours because I want this picture to look natural and realistic to what it is in the photograph. So first off, we've got the burnt sienna and we've got the vermilion red. Try and avoid using crimson because that's quite a cold tone of red. We've got the cobalt blue, the yellow orchid, and I've also got a medium yellow there in case that colour needs enhancing. I've got some titanium white, but I'm going to try and avoid using too much of that because that does take away from the brightness of the colours. And I don't have any black whatsoever because I want this to look as natural as possible. I've got a range of brush sizes here, and most importantly I've got my tissue where I'm going to be drying off the brushes because I want to avoid using water as much as I can when I'm doing this painting. So let's start off by doing this little bit of fabric here. So what I want to do is I want to try and find the lightest tone within that fabric, and then I'm slowly going to work into the darker tones so it just builds up gradually. So I'm going to take some titanium white, mix in a little bit of vermilion red, and just try and make that as accurate to the photograph as possible. And then I'm going to begin by blotting this colour on the complete area of fabric, which you can see in the image. You can see I'm just picking the rough area of where that fabric is, and then I'm blotting on the whole colour. I'm not worried about where the light and the dark is, just try and get it as thick and consistent as possible. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take some white and just put that straight into the lightest area. Be quite generous and just slowly spread it around so that it blends in with the first coat of colour. The further out you go, the darker it should be getting, and then that's how you get a nice gradient blend of the fabric colour. So when you're mixing skin tone, I would advise using a shade of red, so in this case it's the vermilion, and also use a shade of yellow as well. So I'm going to use the yellow orchid to make this skin tone, and you want it to try and just have a little bit of that yellow so it's got the natural tint to it. And you can see that's a really nice strong orangey colour now. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to totally dilute that with a large amount of white so that you can almost barely see the colour pigments. So you can see I'll paint that skin tone on. It's quite a golden tanned colour at this stage. Depends on whom it is you're painting. With this person here, it needs more of a golden tint to it. Some people have sort of pinker skin, others might even need a little bit of blue just to darken that tone. And same again, just make sure that you're mixing the colour with the darks and the lights in order to get your gradient blends. If you find this happens with your painting and the colour doesn't come out as strong as you want, don't worry, that's probably just part of the canvas's problem. So what you need to do is let it dry, and then once that is settled, go into it with your second layer of colour, making it nice and thick. Try and avoid using any water at all, and you'll see that that colour can just become so much stronger now that it has a base to work off of. Same thing again, guys. So if you've got some shadows, let's say there's got some shadows in the fabrics here, what you want to do is just make that colour nice and strong to begin with, where the dark is, keeping the canvas quite wet so that the colour can sort of easily blend. And then what I want to do, once I've got those darks applied, is just go back into it with a lighter tone and work them into each other. the finishing touches onto the bottom, and that's about it. So there you have it. I hope you've learned something from this acrylic painting tutorial. We'll be putting more content out on the site soon, so do stay tuned for that. And until the next time, I'll see you later.